Honestly, I think this is the best depiction of Donald Trump's response to this entire controversy.
Damn, I know I shouldn't have called on this nigga. Stop worrying about that. I got that under control. Fine, I'll answer your stupid ass question. I feel like you guys keep trying to distract people when I'm focusing on other things. Let's focus on space, the United States of space. Because I ain't stopping at the moon. Mars.
As there's a lot of parallels to that, and this administration's official response to the Jeffrey Epstein saga that just keeps getting more and more bizarre. All of this is now, we're hearing from Axios and sources close to the White House that Dan Bongino is walking out. But is this enough to save face here? What's really going on behind the scenes here? As of course, there's a lot of rumors, there's a lot of scuttlebutt, there's a lot of really interesting things happening behind the scenes that we are going to be going over in this particular video. Old videos that give us more insight into what's happening right now, as well as the bigger picture of, is Pam Bondi going to be the biggest scapegoat? I'm here at the TPUSA conference, and the things I'm seeing here, holy cow, they're pretty surprising, to say the least, especially the conversations that I'm having. And if you appreciate that type of insight and this type of reporting, subscribe, click the notification button. We got a lot to get into, as it looks like this administration is definitely doing its best to dodge the hot potato that is in everyone's hands here, that just keeps getting hotter and hotter as the general public does not have an appetite for excusing child predators out there. As Axios has this reporting saying, scoop, FBI's Dan Bongino clashes with AG Pam Bondi over the handling of the Epstein files. Now, there's a couple of possibilities here. One that I think is going to be surprising with my take here on this particular matter that you guys probably won't see coming. But let's just look at the story face value before I start to dissect it and start to give you my own personal questions about what I think is really going on here. They're reporting that Bongino didn't come to work Friday after having a very heated, loud, angry argument with Pam Bondi over, of course, the disclosure of the Epstein phase 2 that never was. Now, this part right here is really interesting because a lot of people online are saying, yes, Bongino, yeah, he's a real one. Yeah. And again, there's an argument to make for that, but there's another argument to make against that. I'm going to be making that argument in a little bit here. But Axios writes, quote, the fact is, Dan was for releasing the information with the video and had no problem until he got heat online. A senior administration official told Axios. That senior official, if the beef is real, probably from Pam Bondi's office. Let's just be real. As of course, there's leaks within leaks and people trying to get control of the narrative and throw each other under the bus here. I think there's a big effort to throw Pam Bondi underneath the bus here, which I think is suspicious. I think it's a little awkward that everyone is just blaming her and not really the kind of chain of command here that she's following. Now, Axios says here, Bongino found the video with the missing minute. He vouched for it after a thorough review. He said, and he thought this would end the matter. When that didn't work, he lost his mind and ran out of DC. That probably was Pam Bondi talking to Axios. Axios probably called her up. Yeah, you got a comment for this? Yeah. And listen, Bongino, he's a smart cookie. He's not the smartest cookie. He's not the sharpest knife. He's still a smart cookie, okay? The guy's extremely successful, extremely popular. His reputation's on the line here. He gave up multi-millions of dollars just to be here. And when you have his entire reputation, his entire career just ruined, tarnished overnight, that has a psychological effect on you. Now, did he legitimately think, I'm going to release a video from a hallway adjacent to the door, not even the door, with a minute missing, and everyone's going to be convinced here that absolutely the official story is completely true? Did I think Dan Bongino did that? No. I can't see that. Because as a rational human being in the industry, right, I know how the industry works. I know what people are thinking, what people are sharing, what people are liking. I know how like the hive mind works a little bit. As of course there's more bots now, more than ever. It's pretty disgusting. But if you're Dan Bongino, you're telling me you thought you were going to release a clip and everything's going to be hunky-dory? I don't buy that. But if that's true, that really highlights how there's extremely low intelligence with Bongino. Now, a pro-Bongino source said, Dan is not the bad guy here. he shouldn't take the fall. Now, he's taking the fall because he went on Fox News, he did a bunch of interviews, and he said, absolutely, Epstein absolutely took himself out, which, again, I just don't believe here. I think the argument came out after the Justice Department report came out saying, okay, we're going to review a little bit more documents. We might give you something. We might give you a little bone. Some crumb may fall off, and we might sacrifice someone. Maybe, potentially, probably not. But hey, we didn't even give you documents. Now we might give you some documents. We might bury you in the documents here, which are probably going to be blacked out incredibly. They're still debating if they should do that. Now, I found the comments from Jesse Kelly really interesting here because he kind of portrays this kind of landscape. And again, I think there's a big possibility that a lot of this could be orchestrated, by the way, to save face here, and it could be an organized, orchestrated marketing PR move here. That's what I'm worried about. This is what Jesse Kelly had to say.
Dan is one of us. Hey, look, he's richer and more famous, but he's one of us.
He goes on. I'll play the full video. Before I do, I wanted to talk about the sponsor of today's video, and that, of course, is BiltongUSA.com. I've been on the road for too long, and I haven't had it, and I'm disappointed. I really like Biltong. Biltong is a family-friendly snack, low in carbs, and packed with protein, making Biltong the ultimate health snack. Biltong is a great source of iron. Also serves as a source of several other essential nutrients, including magnesium, potassium, and B vitamins. Feeling gains in every aspect of your life, whether you're following a carnivore, keto, or high-protein diet. Biltong is the perfect addition to keep you on track. Use code WRC for 10% off of your purchases on BiltongUSA.com. They have a lot of really great products. They're just in the middle of moving. The city was giving them massive amounts of pains with permitting and attacking them. They've been directly on it. But whether you like apricots, mango slices, it looks like what they have, Angus, Wagyu. I really, really do like this stuff. You can now subscribe for them. And really, really great, awesome products that I personally enjoy. I think you will too. They also have snacks. They also have spicy meat. They also have candies. And again, really, really good company. I like them. I've been working with them for quite a long time, and I can't recommend them enough, especially when it comes to getting your high quality, high protein needs met. And you could definitely do that with BiltongUSA.com, an amazing product that I love. I think you will too. Check them out. Link is down in the description below. Now let's get back to this Jesse Kelly clip here, because I think it's important to understand here his kind of personal take on it, which I would say might be a little bit more biased since he's friends with Bongino.
It's okay. If Dan leaves, that will tell me everything I need to know. That will tell me everything I need to know. And that's, honestly, it's the day I dread. It's the day I worry about. There, I just told you. If I wake up, what's that, Chris? Am I hearing he's going to? No. Let me be clear. Let me clarify. I've never heard a word about Dan leaving. He's never said anything to me privately about it either. I've never even heard a rumor about it. I've never heard a word about it. This is something I came up with in my own mind. But I wake up every day and I look at my phone for maybe a text message or maybe just a headline, Dan Bongino stepping down. If Dan Bongino steps down, especially if it's over the next year, it can't be saved.
Yeah, as a lot of people are saying, yeah, the whole system. A lot of people have lost faith in the system. I'm here at TPUSA. I'll make a separate video at TPUSA talking about my conversations that I think are important to have, specifically with the crowd there, because they represent the kind of MAGA base here, and their responses to everything is very, very telling here. Now, according to some of the other sources here, Bondi allegedly believes she did nothing wrong, even with the infamous Epstein binders. Allegedly, that's what Bongino is infuriated about, as he says that things were overpromised, underdelivered. And again, let's be honest here. I think Bondi, Bongino, and Cash all lied here, and they all contradicted themselves, and they all couldn't get their story straight here. So Bondi obviously is on top of the food chain, but Bondi is also the one taking orders. Now, it's allegedly Bondi's lies and false promises that destroyed trust, undermined justice, and, quote, it was a self-inflicted wound thanks to Bondi, writes Liz Wheeler here. Now, they're saying that if Bondi has kept her mouth shut, the FBI could have had their focus on other issues other than going after some of the most prolific child herders in the world here. I don't get this take here by Liz Wheeler. That's I don't get that here at all. I think she's wrong here. As allegedly, according to sources, Trump is furious with Bondi. He didn't look like it during the press conference when he was guarding her and saying, you don't even got to answer this question, Pam. I got this. I got this.
Us bitches. Mars. Red rocks.
Yay, yay!
Pretty much. What he was saying there. No. Allegedly, Bondi is now trying to undermine Bongino. I think this could be, there's a potential to think here that and I'll go through my theories on a little bit here. Laura Loomer talking about how people are conforming the reports that Bongino walked out, hasn't come back to work. He might resign. He might have to take a few days off here. And it looks like, according to other, and again, a lot of anonymous sources here, so believe who you want. But according to other sources here, Cash is definitely staying. There's some allegedly big case here, as people are really not sure about Cash. But the reports about Dan Bongino not being happy here, being extremely frustrated. Yeah, I would too. I would too. You give up a multi-million-dollar deal. You give up everything you ever worked so hard for, and now everyone's calling you child abuser protector. I mean, that's big here. But Dominique Michael Trippi here, he highlights another aspect of this story here that again, we just played to you, that Bongino allegedly had no issues with the Epstein memo or video rollout until he started to receiving backlash online, which caused him to be extremely upset and leave. That's one source. That's probably Pam Bondi. So there's probably an internal war here that's probably going on here. Now, pinning all of this on Bondi, for me, isn't going to work here, okay? Because they all kind of took part in the cover-up. It was a multi-effort cover-up, and let's not forget those Cash and Bongino statements that they made multiple times. They did it first. Well, what the hell? What in the world just happened there? It's an extreme zoom in. I don't know in the world. Let's be honest with ourselves. They made those statements. They're the ones that blew this up from the very beginning. Let's just be real with ourselves here. And I made a video about this. And I was like, Cash is saying some weird things. I was like, why is Cash saying Epstein absolutely took himself out? Why is he re-litigating this old case that clearly no one ever believes, that is a big conspiracy? Why are we going back and saying Epstein absolutely took himself? What? I mean, there's so many inconsistencies with that story. No one ever was held accountable for clearly violating the duties here. And that's when the first alarm bells. And I, out of all the MAGA people, out of all the Trump loyalists, out of all the other independent media, I made a video about that saying, listen, Cash just said this. This is a big warning sign here of things to come. And then they doubled down on it. And then they looked like they were in a hostage video together. And then they told everyone, absolutely, yeah, he took himself out. Yeah, 100%. Why are we going there? This was, for me, the obfuscation effort from the very beginning. Because again, I know how all this works, and I'm like, we should be talking about the clients. Clients. People who are still out there that hurt children and will continue. Stop. This is a distraction. Stop being baited by Cash and Bongino saying, oh, let's talk about this old fact that no one believes. I was like, why? Stop it. So for me, they ran the first obfuscation effort here, okay? So before you throw Pam Bondi under the bus and blame her for everything here, they're the ones that ran the obfuscation effort before anybody else did, okay? Then Pam Bondi made a bunch of statements and promises, and those statements were very inconsistent with the prosecutor, who is very careful with her words and pays very close attention to detail. Now, the Dominique guy also says, pinning all of this on Bondi isn't going to work. They all took part in the cover-up, from completely contradictory statements before and after they were in the FBI to President Trump's terrible response on being asked about the files. Trust has eroded regardless of Bondi's failures. Yeah, 110%. To say this is all Bondi's fault is kind of a misnomer here. As listen, a lot of people here on the base here, because I'm walking around TPUSA, I'm talking to a lot of the people there, I'm talking to a lot of the personalities here. They're not buying this nonsense. I'm going to make a separate video about Tucker Carlson's comments because they're pretty bombastic, to say the least. And man, the effort right now to try to undermine and destroy Tucker Carlson, that's something real. This was another event here. And again, the MAGA base is not going to forgive this. To me, right now, there's a big possibility that what we're seeing in the press and what we're seeing in the media is a deliberate type of PR crisis scenario that's being unraveled right now. And they're like, okay, let's try to save face here somehow. Let's make it look like an internal conflict. Let's blame everything on Pam Bondi. And then you see the talking points, and you see that all the shills, a lot of the shills that told you, don't worry, stop talking about these Epstein files. They don't matter. A lot of the shills that are like, yeah, we need to bomb Iran. Iran is the biggest threat. It's the biggest horrible thing that the American people are dealing with. It's clearly Iran that's our #1 issue. Those same people are all coming out, and in unison, and the day before, this is the talking point, and this is the plan here. Bondi's bad. Bondi's horrible. And you saw it last night at the TPUSA event. There was, I forgot the lady's speaker name, but it was like, oh, Pam Bondi. I'm not the biggest fan of Pam Bondi, especially the Pfizer stuff, the First Amendment stuff, the Second Amendment stuff. I'm not a big fan, and Lindsey Graham was really happy she got put in there. But I think the order was given, okay, PR crisis management, we're going to have to sacrifice one of our own to save face here, blame it all on her. That's the plan. I think it's being orchestrated and organized. I think the talking points have been given out, and I think the personalities are out there right now. Bondi bad. Bondi bad. Bondi bad. They're just regurgitating everything, which I find ridiculous. I thought this was a very telling moment from last night as well here, where we had this representation of the crowd there that, again, isn't as numerous as it was before. Less people are showing up more than ever. Why? Well, it's not a political season. Political season, the interest is at an all-time high. But I would wager that specifically there's a lot of people that just don't want to be aligned with a government that made campaign promises that they're not willing to keep.
How many of you are satisfied? You can clap. Satisfied with the results of the Epstein investigation? Clap. Okay.
Not one single person. You would think there would be at least like cat turd in there. Trust the plan. QAnon. You would think there'd be one. Nope.
I told you to clap. You guys aren't listening. I'm not going to grade you on a curve. So I was going to get to that. How many of you are not satisfied with the results of the investigation?
Yeah. Overwhelming, resounding audience applause here, which I think is extremely telling. I don't know why my camera zoomed in all the way. Anyway. The comments that Tucker Carlson made here also met with big applause. A lot of people were like, whoa, did he just come out and say what he said here? So listen, it's just crazy to see this kind of civil war that we're seeing unfold here. And this type of civil war is not ending anytime soon. I'm going to make another video talking about Alan Dershowitz's comments, because when Alan Dershowitz is more honest about the Epstein saga than the President of the United States is, that's saying a lot. That's a lot. That's a big statement there. As Dershowitz came out and said, yeah, I know for a fact the Epstein documents are suppressed because they're suppressing powerful individuals. He said it. Now, will these individuals ever be named? No. I think we'll be giving a sacrificial scalp. This is my prediction. Pam Bondi. Oh, it's all her fault. And again, she lied. She lied many times. Tens of thousands of videos of Epstein doing horrible things to children. And then it's like, oh no, that was actually truckloads of documents on my desk. Why haven't you released any of them? We're not releasing them because of the victims. Okay, there's 250 victims named in here. Okay, it doesn't take months to black out victims' names. Actually, we were lying to you the whole time. He did take himself out. There's no blackmail operation. And he's just an average Joe. He's an average guy. Is he intelligent? I don't know. As, of course, there's multiple things highlighting how absolutely he was intelligence. And, again, all the hallmarkers. But what intelligence? Tucker Carlson gave an answer to that. Next video is going to be about that and a lot more. Subscribe, click the notification button. Thank you so much for supporting our sponsor today. BuildTalkUSA.com. Great quality stuff. Can't recommend it enough. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more. All here on YouTube.com/WeAreChange.